There is an island in between Africa and Sicily that is the most stunning and intriguing place I've ever been. From the bluest of waters, to the 300 sunny days a year, to the most incredible stone beaches, to a cave where miracle healings have taken place, to ancient megalithic structures that have the power to change what we know about human history. I'm actually quite speechless. I can't believe where I am right now. This is unbelievable. Scientists say that settlers didn't arrive on Malta until about 8,000 years ago, but there are sites here that would beg to differ. Come with me as we discover the truly mystifying island of Malta. Malta, 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 Malta. Welcome to Malta. I'm actually here on the island to film a documentary about the ancient prehistoric secrets of Malta, but I'm also vlogging my time here. I'm going to show you what it's like to solo travel the Maltese islands, the two largest being Malta and Gozo. I'm going to very loosely plan my vlogging days and just see what there is to spontaneously uncover, which is my favorite way to travel, letting my gut and intuition guide the way. Well, and my GPS. There's always something new to learn if you choose to be open-minded and curious, and I could not be more curious and excited about Malta. Last night I took a flight from Bologna, Italy here to Malta. It was the busiest I have ever seen any airport. There was barely even breathing room.
This is my own personal hell. There are so many people here. There's not even a place on the floor to sit.
I finally arrived and hopped in an Uber to my Airbnb. It was so dark and my driver dropped me off at the wrong spot, so I was wandering around these narrow streets searching for my house.
I'm looking for my Airbnb. I'm in contact with my host, but I'm walking on a street in the dark in Malta.
Luckily, my host found me, and let me tell you, she is the sweetest lady ever. The next morning, she took me on a little walking tour of her neighborhood and brought me to her favorite pasticci shop.
Pasticci? But I mean, in English we call them cheesecake, but like if you say to someone cheesecake, they would think the cheesecake, yeah? Yay! So there you go.
She is the fastest walker I have ever met. She even told me a story of a trip that she went on with her friend, where by the end, her friend had a breakdown and said, "You walk way too fast. I am never going on a trip with you ever again." And they haven't spoken since. But luckily, I could keep up with her. My host was born and raised here on the island, and she told me everything I needed to know.
You're coming back to my house, and it stops, the bus stop is here.
She even took me to get a bus pass and drove me to the bus stop. I took a bus to the town of Marsaxlokk, a stunning harbor town, and they have a market every single Saturday. I was not prepared for the beauty that I was about to experience.
I am in the stunning harbor town of Marsaxlokk, and apparently any town that has the word Marsa in the beginning means harbor. The name of a town is Marsa something, it means it's a harbor town. Every Sunday they have the market, an outdoor market here in Marsaxlokk, and it's Sunday, so my Airbnb host told me to come here, and I am so happy she did. I am just wandering around looking at the incredible buildings, the colorful doors, the markets. Oh, it's the water, it's stunning.
Oh, I'm excited. Do I even need to say anything? Heaven.
I am completely and utterly mind blown by Malta. This is the most unique, beautiful place I've ever been. My jaw is just on the floor at every moment. And I have like a week here.
There's something else interesting about this place that you may not notice unless you look a little bit closer. Stuck to the side of these traditional fishing boats called lutsu, you can see a small eye. It's actually the Eye of Horus, an ancient Egyptian symbol that represents protection, healing, and well-being. Fishermen would attach these eyes to their boats for protection while at sea. That is something that I've learned while traveling. There's usually more to these long-standing traditions than meets the eye.
I am headed to St. Peter's Pool. I genuinely have no idea what to expect. I was in this area of town looking at the fish market, and I saw a lot of signs that said St. Peter's Pool, so I'm gonna go check it out. Snails. I've seen a ton of snails since being in Malta, and I've been here less than 24 hours. I don't know why. I am truly mind-boggled where I am right now. Malta is insane. I am blown away by this place. It's unlike any other place I've ever been. And look at this water. Look at this place. I am mind blown. I cannot wait to jump into this crystal clear blue water. I can't believe where I am right now. This is unbelievable. I feel like I'm on a different planet. I'm actually quite speechless. You can see that this is salt because when the salt water comes up here and gets caught in these pools, the fresh water evaporates and the salt is left behind. That's actually how they cultivate salt still nowadays. I heard that the Romans built baths over here, carved them out so that you could sit. They're still here. This place has tons of tide pools, amazing places to swim, jump off the cliffs, stunning white cliffs, and the gorgeous blue water is unbelievable. Unbelievable. One of the most beautiful, incredible places I've ever been. I had to climb down the side of a very small cliff to get to the tide pool that I really wanted to go in, and I did scrape my leg. But totally worth it! Now it's time to go find some dinner because I have only had a pastis today. Just one. Suddenly, the world I used to know, I see it differently. Good thing I haven't eaten all day. I just had the best few items of my life. Oh my gosh. That's perfection. The amount of pistachio things I've had today equals the perfect day, honestly. Good morning! Today I'm going to Valletta, which is the capital city of Malta, and it's actually the smallest capital city in all of Europe. I think a beautiful day is in store. I'm loving Malta so far. So I'm here in Malta and it is unbelievably mind-boggling. I'm actually staying with a local Maltese woman and she has lived here all her life, and she was telling me that the Maltese language is 70% derived from Arabic, and then the last 30% is a mixture between English, French, and Italian. So it really truly is a melting pot. And she was laughing and she was telling me that some of the older people say bonjour in the morning and then ciao to say goodbye, which is so interesting. It's just like a complete melange of cultures and language. Nearly everyone speaks English here because Malta was actually a British colony for the past 115 years. And it's so crazy because the last British forces didn't leave until like April 1st, 1979. So they haven't had their independence for that long. Okay, behind me is literally like a Roman ruin or some sort of ruin that they're still using today. There's a whole bunch of chairs and seats and they use it. The energy that was there back in the day is still around with new energy, and it just makes a place so electric. And the Verona Amphitheater, they still use it today. So my brother and I, we got a chance to go visit the amphitheater while they were rehearsing for a big show that they had, and it was one of the most magical electric experiences I've ever had. And I can imagine going to a place here as well. Okay, so now I am headed to the upper Baracca, which supposedly is a beautiful outlook on the city of Malta. Let's do it. I mean the city of Valletta. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Sorry. Oh, sure. Wow. Oh, cool. Wow. So behind me is a view of the 3 cities, which I'm going to take a ferry to in a few minutes. One of the 3 cities is Birgu, which is the original location where the Knights of St. John or the Knights of St. Malta fought off the Great Siege of the 1500s. So this island has actually been ruled by many different countries throughout the years, and it has a very complex and fascinating history that truly goes back to some of the first humans. And I'm always like obsessed with these types of islands. For example, Corsica is another one of my favorite places, and it's actually a French territory now, but that island also was ruled by many different countries, which creates such a unique culture and a unique history. And the Corsican people actually are super nationalistic to Corsica. So they consider themselves first Corsican and then French. So next we are gonna head to St. John's Co-Cathedral, which I'm super excited about because there's a lot of interesting history there. Behind me is the St. John's Co-Cathedral, and it was actually created by the Knights of St. John. And inside it's so cool because there are different chapels dedicated to each of the different languages that the Knights of St. Malta originated from. Because the Knights of St. Malta came from all over the world. There are also 2 Caravaggio paintings, which I just think is so cool because I learned a lot about Caravaggio in Florence, and you can see evidence of him here in Malta as well. Okay, so what are the Knights of St. John, aka the Knights of Malta? Well, the Knights of St. John are actually a noble, military, religious Catholic group here on the island, and they did a ton of things actually. They basically protected this area in the 1500s. Specifically, they were very influential in the siege of Malta of the 1500s, which I'll talk more about later on the Fort of St. Angelo. Okay, St. John's Co-Cathedral was actually so incredible. My favorite part was the Caravaggio paintings. They were so realistic and evoked so much emotion. And one of my favorite facts was it was the only painting that Caravaggio actually ever signed his name on, and it was in the blood of St. John the Baptist's neck. That is so incredible. And then another crazy fact was that Caravaggio actually got kicked out of the Malta Order, and it was in that oratory that they decided that he needed to be kicked out, literally under the painting of the beheading of St. John the Baptist that he created. Wow, how ironic. Every inch and every centimeter was just so miraculously crafted and so much detail. Oh my gosh, it was actually honestly so incredible. I would highly recommend it. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. Someone just saw me vlogging and they were like, excuse me, do you do content for YouTube? And I was like, yes. And they said, well, I wanted to tell you that there's this really cool place that might be interesting for you to make some content of, and it's the underground Valletta. That is so cool. I'm 100,000% going there. I saw a one-legged pigeon and it actually made me sad. Taking a ferry to the 3 cities. Yay. Okay, I'm on the inlet island type thing of Borgu. It's one of the 3 cities. It's very cool and beautiful. I feel like I'm in Dune or Game of Thrones or something like that, like somewhere so magnificent and unreal. Look at these stairs. They're so thin and worn down because they're so old, but still usable. This place is so beautiful and charming. So I'm headed to Fort St. Angelo, and it's actually the original location of the fort of the Knights of St. Malta.
Thank you so much for watching my first 48 hours on the island of Malta. I'm actually going to be here for 10 full days diving deep into the prehistory of this incredible place, so make sure to subscribe to follow along.